Welcome back to Capsule Monster Coliseum. It's time for Area 3. We've got 5 new opponents waiting for us to speed kill them. But they're gonna have to wait a little bit longer because in order to speed kill them we need to purchase a monster out of the shop. I never thought I would have to actually go to the shop because I just thought there weren't really any monsters worth spending the load time to go and get. Well, it turns out that not only is the load time not that bad, but this monster that I'm about to purchase is just amazing. Blast Juggler, the first fire monster we'll actually be using. Go figure. You would think that with a fire symbol we would actually be using fire monsters, but it took us 2 whole areas in order to find one worth using. This thing just has the best attack range that I've ever seen. There are probably monsters with better range out there, but this thing is readily available as soon as you clear Area 2. Normally I would wait until Area 4 where I could get it from one of the opponents. I'm thankful to have it now though, because it enables some of the funniest speed kills I've ever recorded. Yes, Bakura's speed kill is even more insulting than Mako's, if you can believe it. At least Mako just had his symbol sit there while you wailed on it. Bakura actually moves his symbol into range for your monster to one-shot it. Were they even trying with the AI in this game? Well, they would have to be trying with the rest of the game. I know I've said this a dozen times before, but Capsule Monster Coliseum is really disappointing in some areas. It's not just the difficulty or the AI. The way the monsters level up is also disappointing. I don't think I've talked about it before, but have you noticed that my wind monsters only seem to ever gain defense when they level up? Well, that's no accident. Every wind monster is like that. Each attribute has 1 or 2 stats that will go up when the monster levels up. And it will be those stats exclusively that go up. Fire monsters only ever gain attack power. Light monsters never gain attack power when they level up. When I found that out, I was just sitting there and wondering why. Anyhow, Bakura's stage. We start out with this big giant cherry tree in our way, so naturally we're gonna have to dance around it somehow. Bakura himself decided to split up his forces because the red corner has 2 separate locations for monsters to be placed. On the first turn, in every battle with the guy that I've ever had, he wastes his entire move summoning Queen of Autumn Leaves, a wood monster which is thankfully very far away from us. We just picked up a fire monster, so I shouldn't even be worried about wood monsters anymore. Speaking of elemental advantages, I think I finally figured everything out with regards to damage calculation. I had already stated that if you are attacking a monster and it resists your attribute, then your damage is just outright halved. If you're attacking and you have an advantage over the enemy's monster, you have their defense for the duration of the attack. At least, as far as I'm seeing, that seems to be the case. Anyhow, Bakura wasted his move by moving that symbol. It costed him too much AP, so now he can't summon Larvus, which would have been in the perfect position to destroy Blast Juggler had he summoned it. The Feral Imp that does wind up attacking Blast Juggler can't destroy him in one hit, go figure. And he's using a dark symbol, so I actually wonder if the symbol is just low level, or is it like, I don't know. Oh, and he also blundered his symbol by moving it into range of Blast Juggler. So this duel won't even last another turn. I don't even remember if this map has any animations that I just skipped by finishing it so quickly. And because Blast Juggler destroyed the symbol, it gets a free level up. Fantastic! The AI in this game is just so smart. Really, they just shouldn't have symbols for me to destroy if they want to pose a threat. I happen to know Merrick would be extremely difficult if I didn't have a method for destroying his symbol. And on that note, I'd like to mention that up until now, monster levels haven't really mattered. as far as speed killing goes. But that might change in the upcoming battles, because Kuriboh has to be level 4 by the time we get to Odeon. He is the 4th opponent in this area here. I mean, you can face the opponents in any order, but I just faced them in the order of Bakura, Keith, Pegasus, Odeon, and Merrick. That's everybody in this area. Now, I want at least one Kuriboh at level 4 by the time I fight Odeon, so I can use its special ability. I only need one Kuriboh at level 4 for that battle, but I need 2 for Merrick, because I used 2 Kuriboh special abilities in that stage. And I'm bringing this up because, I mean, I took a tally of how much bonus experience I was collecting by deploying the Kuribohs, even though I never actually used them in combat. If Kuriboh collected bonus experience exclusively, he would enter Area 3 just shy of what he needed in order to hit level 4. I'll talk a little more about that after I mention that this stage looks nothing like what would be appropriate for Keith. I mean, I wasn't expecting the White House to be a stage in this game, but I certainly wasn't expecting Bandit Keith, the all-American hero, to have a treasure trove with an Anubis statue. Anyway, I lose the coin flip, but luckily Keith decides to let me go first. Fantastic. You're gonna love my strategy for this guy. I make a couple mistakes in this run, however. So at the end of the day, I think you could shave off 2 to 4 minutes off my time for this area if you count all of the time I wasted making mistakes. Surprise, surprise, we're gonna rush at Keith's symbol with Drollbirds. However, there's a twist to this one. The symbol in this level cannot be destroyed in one hit. It's got too many hit points, go figure. 500 is the highest we've seen so far. Most other symbols have only had 150 to 220 or something. So it's going to take 3 hits from the Drollbirds to destroy the symbol. Now, when you see the strategy, you'll think, well, Ephraim, it takes you so long to destroy the symbol, you might as well just destroy all the monsters since you one-shot all of them. Well, I don't one-shot all of them. 2 of the monsters in this stage cannot be destroyed in one hit. At some point during development of this route, I was able to do it, but for some reason I can't anymore. I don't know what happened. Blast Juggler could certainly do it, but he can only destroy one of them because of the Bishop rule that I mentioned previously. There's the 2 monsters now, in fact. Hairy, durable, stone, needle balls. Keith's needle balls. Just beautiful. Ugh. Other mistakes during this level include putting that Kuriboh at the beginning where I put it. I should have actually deployed a couple of Happy Lovers and used them as a shield, because it takes so long to destroy the symbol that one needle ball actually makes it to my symbol and I have to waste time defending it. If I had just placed 2 Happy Lovers there, then I would have been able to just, you know, let them take the hits, because there's no way they'd get destroyed that quickly. Oh yeah, you can also hit all of these monsters while they're still in capsules. I suppose if you had Blast Juggler and a Drollbird also deployed, then you could destroy the Needle Balls fairly quickly. Anyhow, the other threat in this stage are the 2 Thunder monsters there. They're called La-La-Leon. I don't understand. La-La-Leon. Anyhow, due to the same Bishop rule I keep complaining about, they're only able to attack one Drollbird at a time. By the way, Heat has this ace monster called Barrel Dragon, big, beautiful summoning animation with lots of taunting and evil grinning, and I just smashed it before the animation could take place. Beautiful. Don't expect me to take that monster after the stage is done. I don't want any of these things. Pretty sure Lala Leon is inferior to Thunder Kid, so there's that. They can't destroy the Drollbirds without hitting them at least 3 times. And they can only ever get... I don't know how many hits they can get at once. I just destroy them before they can do anything. So anyhow, getting back to what I was saying about Kuribo's and bonus experience. If you alter any of my routes in order to make it go faster, then you have to keep in mind that Kuribo still needs to hit level 4 by the time you get to Odeon, and the second one has to hit level 4 by the time you get to Merrick, so you're still going to have to feed Kuribo a couple of kills somewhere down the road, and that shouldn't be too hard. I think with all of the kills that Kuribo got in Weevil and Rex's stages, then combined with all of the bonus experience from the other stages, he should be fine, but, you know, there's still that little bit of worry in my mind, so that's just something you gotta pay attention to. And of course, finding a route that doesn't involve Kuribo at all is also desirable. So I wind up using Kuribo's special ability in this stage, but you do not need it at all. You just need to not be silly like I was. Here's the first hit on the symbol. Now, if the symbol just stayed where it was, I could finish this a turn earlier. But apparently, Keith had a flash of cognitive brilliance and decided to move it where only one Drollbird could hit it. They're learning, sort of. Not really sure why Keith's symbol is the most durable of the bunch so far. Needleball is a pretty powerful monster. I don't think I'll ever use it, considering its movement makes it too difficult to use. The other Needleball actually pulls back and manages to destroy one of my Drollbirds, but that's okay. I still have 2 more, and I only need 1 anyways. Now, I believe I've already mentioned how special abilities work in this game. In order to use them, the monster has to sit completely still for the rest of the turn. You can't move and use a special ability in the same turn, and that's on top of all the other weaknesses special abilities have, like how they cost additional AP, can only be used a certain number of times per game, and most of them are completely not useful at all. One of the ones that is useful is Kuribo's. It casts a shield over him or one monster sitting right next to him. The shield negates one attack completely. Amount of damage doesn't matter, element doesn't matter, nothing matters. One attack just gets completely negated, and you would not believe how many of the AI monsters waste their biggest plays taking out the shield. It's just... yeah. Anyhow, the stage is finally about to end. Apparently Keith decided to move his symbol back into range and let me finish the stage, thank goodness. This stage also has a weird animation when you complete it, of the entire cave collapsing. Not really sure why, they just decided to add that tiny little detail there. Then we collect our bonus experience and we will be on our way to the next stage. And here it is, the animation that I'm not sure why it's there, but it is. But the Anubis statue is still standing, so that's cool. Next up is Pegasus, who has yet another speed kill. Oh, and my symbol levels up. I put all the points in effect strength yet again. Now fire and wind monsters are gaining an 84% bonus. They only get stronger from here on out. And in my run, both Kuribos are now level 4, so that's that condition satisfied. Moving on to Pegasus. You know, I gotta hand it to Pegasus. Despite being able to read his opponent's mind, he's still bad at games. Even Duel Monsters. I mean, Yuki's even worse at games. He has to cheat in order to win. With Pegasus, Ishizu, all of these guys with their mystical trinkets, and they still can't play. Then again, being able to see all of the moves your opponent is about to make before they've actually made them doesn't really help in 99% of the situations I've come across. It just means you know in advance how screwed you are. But the Millennium Eye can fire a laser beam, apparently, so that's cool. I am such a lucky person. I needed to get the first attack in all 5 fights in Area 3, and I got them all. What are the odds of that one? There's like some ridiculously low % chance of winning 5 coin tosses in a row. And isn't it sad, all of these new, unique monsters we're about to see out of Pegasus? And we snipe his symbol from afar, just like with Bakura. Blast Juggler really is pulling its weight already. Can't remember if I already mentioned it, but his range is the same as Dark Magician Girl's. In Bakura's stage, that's fine, you can use her to pull off the same speed kill. If you've got a Dark or a Thunder symbol anyway. In this stage, you can't, because her attack will get halved because the symbol is light element. Also, what is with these computers? They don't use monsters whose elements match their symbols like 99% of the time. He's got 2 light monsters here. Anyhow, this is another example of monster levels actually mattering. Because in this stage, Blast Juggler gets the first hit on the symbol. And if he is level 3 or higher, then it'll be a one-hit kill. But he's level 2 here, so he leaves it, most embarrassingly, with only 10 hit points, and Joelbert has to come in and finish the job. If I had played Odeon's stage first and leveled him up there, then I would save a little time. Just goes to show that you can still find minor improvements, even after you've pulled off such an excellent run as this, in my opinion. This was a really good run. Clearing an entire area in under 40 minutes is not something I expected out of this game, just because the load times are so not cool. I mean, you can finish Fire Emblem 7 in 2 hours with lots of RNG manipulation, but my point is that that game doesn't have load times like this thing does. I guess it's worth mentioning that the stage music is starting to get better and better as the game goes on. And here we go. 10 whole hit points! Very unfortunate. Next up is Odeon's stage. He uses an Earth symbol and a bunch of Earth monsters. The Earth symbol is the only symbol in the game that raises the life points of a particular element of monster, that being Earth also. Which means that Odeon's monsters are very difficult to kill in one hit. In fact, I don't think you can do it at all. Blast Juggler might be able to if he were like level 9 or something. But no, we have to take on Odeon with what we've got, so there you go. Which is why I suggested taking on Pegasus after Odeon, because then you don't have to really care about casualties either. That's another thing I should bring up, is that when you play this game, if you want to avoid having to surrender and take the 2-minute penalty from watching all the loading screens again when you surrender to get your monsters back, then make sure your route plans to only lose monsters that you don't need in the next battle. Pretty simple. I lose a lot of monsters in Merrick's stage, come to think of it, but only because I don't need them. The first battle in Area 4 is another embarrassing speed kill, but it's actually intentional this time, so that's good. Nah, it's still not good. Now, you might be thinking that I should probably try and find a speed kill for Odeon, but trying to find one was difficult because his symbol is tucked away in the corner. It's one of those kinds of maps yet again. Small, but you have to make a bunch of weird maneuvers. And I win the coin flip yet again. Two of his monsters, by the way, are the statue of Easter Island. He must have been playing Gradius lately. So let's see here. This is the first map where we're actually going to use Kuribo's shielding ability. And that's really all I have to say about the stage itself. If any of the maneuvers in this level look risky, it's because I'm allowed to make risky maneuvers because I already know what's going to happen. Now, since Kuribo has to sit completely still in order to use his shielding ability, I planned for that in advance by putting the monsters that I want shielded next to him on this start screen. It does cost 150 AP to use the shield, however, so that's another thing I have to plan for. I'm already starting with 265 AP. And it took me a while to mention it, but whenever you summon a monster, the amount of AP you replenish every turn goes up. As you can no doubt tell, because you've seen it happen a dozen times already. So, I want to get it to where I can move all of the monsters that I need to move and still cast the shield. For this stage, the 3 Drollbirds cost 30 AP apiece, Kuribo himself costs 30 AP to summon, and Blast Juggler costs 130? Something like that. So I should have plenty to cast the shield and get moving. Oh yeah, and as you level up a monster, the amount of AP it costs also goes up. Not by a lot, but enough to be worth considering. Oh yeah. And it was at this point that disaster struck, and I had to go to the bathroom. That's why I'm sitting still here. Now, I'd tell you all about my bathroom strats, but you probably don't want to hear about it, so let's just keep moving. Blast Juggler, as strong as it is still a pretty fragile monster, so it gets the shield, of course. Conveniently, I was able to also cast another shield on one of the Drollbirds. And that helped out a ton, too. Even though I probably didn't need it. I'll keep watch and tell you if I actually needed it or not. Not sure why he's moving the symbol there. That monster there is called Rock Ogre Grotto. It's got a weird movement and attack range combination. Earth monsters are slow, but they're also pretty strong. They're like glaciers, even though it seems like water monsters should be glaciers. They're not exactly glaciers, but whatever. Now, since no matter what I do, I can't seem to one-hit kill any of these, it doesn't really matter when you take on Odeon. Before the symbol levels up, after it levels up, whatever. One thing that's very unfortunate, however, is that in the next stage, Merit Stage, it might actually matter what level your Drollbirds are. I wish I were kidding. You'll see why that is later on, but I'm not really sure if there's any way to get the Drollbirds to a higher level than they are when they leave this stage, because I think it would require way too much kill feeding, and it's probably not worth it, but I get through the stage, so I should probably be satisfied with that. I get through the stage in a timely manner, that is. Any amount of speed is something I'm going to be happy with at this point. And Area 4 itself, I'll be so glad to work on that area next, because it's a lot of fun, just like Area 3 was. Here's where I sit still wondering where I should place my attacks. trying to remember what the strategy was. And the strategy seems to be destroy the monsters that aren't out of their capsules yet for some reason. Kind of a shame that I can't get to Rock Ogre Grotto from here, though. If that last Drollbird were one square higher, then I would be able to. Oh yeah, Last Juggler just got its special ability, which is completely useless. It's a special attack, but the thing about all special attacks in this game is that they receive no boost at all from the symbol, from what I've seen. Which is really sad, because if I were able to snipe more symbols by just jumping into the enemy's territory and then self-destructing Blast Juggler, then I'd be happy. Self-destruct, as you probably guessed, sacrifices the monster completely for a big blast, but since it's weaker than its regular attack, then I'm not really sure what the advantage of using it would be, other than it hits multiple targets, but you know, you can already hit multiple targets by using multiple monsters. There's a Fire Reaper and a Skull there. Not really sure why. Skull gets an attack boost from the Earth symbol instead of a life boost, which is good because I don't have to waste another turn trying to destroy it. Kinda wish Mystical Beast of Circuit was in this game. Wait, what am I saying? No, I don't! There are a lot of monsters I wish were in this game, though, to be completely honest. I mean, who's ever heard of Drollbird, anyways? What if it were, What if it were... Can't think of any at the moment. I'm just waiting for the stage to end. Only 2 more turns. Yeah, I was hoping I would have just like an endless flow of commentary for you guys, but sometimes you just run out of things to talk about. I did get the chance to check out the Capsule Monsters board game that came out around the time this game came out. It didn't really have a long run. It only had about 40 monsters in one set, with like only 4 elements too. It had some neat ideas, but I guess they just thought, you know, nobody's gonna buy this game. The Capsule Monsters board game seems to be pretty much the same as this, but with more simple numbers to understand. So I guess I didn't need the second shield after all, because Drollbird would have survived that hit. Either way. So say goodnight to the statues of Easter Island. We'll ship them right back to that island. And we move on to the final stage of Area 3. Oh gosh, 10 more minutes of this. That was weird, the sandstorm effect stopped. I don't think there are any map animations on this stage. I wonder how many hits it would take to destroy the guy's symbol. In case anyone's wondering, you can't attack through walls. If there's a wall in your way, then you can't attack through it, even if you've got range. None of his monsters interest me, so I just take them because I really should be skipping all of these monster taking screens. Because, you know, it just wastes time to take monsters that you don't need for the upcoming stages. Anyhow, America's the only one left. Yet another dark symbol. There are too many dark and light symbols in this game. I think Weevil Underwood was the last opponent in the game to use a wood symbol. Kinda sad. So, what does Merrick's stage look like? A bunch of floating cubes. I have no idea why. There are a lot of holes in the level, which made it difficult to plan a route. You can jump over holes, but you certainly can't land on them. So the starting positions of all of my monsters are very, very important here. It's also important that I win the coin toss, but I've already told you that I did. Still no way to manipulate the coin toss, even though I think there might be something to it. Merrick is another guy with an ace monster, but there's no summoning animation for it, oddly enough. So destroying it before it comes out of the capsule is both impossible and pointless anyways. It's a pretty tough monster, though. He's using Zoa, whom you might remember can transform into Metal Zoa, somehow. I forget if Metal Zoa is in this game or how you get it. It's probably one of those weird fusion monsters or an evolution or something. Oh yeah, symbol placement is locked on this board. Not that it matters. I'd pretty much put it in that location if I had the option anyways. This is another spot where I make a mistake that costs some time. I forgot what the starting formation needed to be. And then I remembered, and oops. I wound up having to change all of my capsule placements. So yeah, just a bunch of monster relocating going on here. Basically what we're going to do is rush right at the symbol with some backup from shielded monsters. Let's see. Where am I supposed to put these? There, that's what you're supposed to do. Helps that the attribute of the monster is printed on the capsule. So I can just show you one screenshot and you'll see, oh, I know where Blast Juggler goes because it's the only fire monster he's got, and I know where Karibo goes because it's the only dark monster he's got. Yet again, I find myself thankful for the extra point in AP that I placed in it at the end of Area 1, because it allows me to summon all of these monsters in one turn, and they're all the monsters I will ever need. Now then, let's see what Merrick's winning strategy is. He apparently doesn't want to outright crush me, and instead wants to make it a little interesting by holding back. That is a mistake, Merrick. Okay, so here we go. 511 AP is enough to shield 2 monsters and move the rest. So there's shield number 1 and shield number 2. Actually, I can't remember if the shields actually... well, they should help. Because I'm pretty sure that if the enemies weren't distracted trying to destroy one of my monsters, then something bad would happen. Merrick's got a particularly annoying monster on this stage called Bolt Penguin. Weird movement, very powerful attack due to the dark symbol. The Ryukushins are pretty difficult to get around too, but Zoa's the biggest threat. Alright, time to take out one of the Ryukushins. What does Ryukushin even mean? Aren't they called gargoyles in Japan? I think that's what they're called. They certainly don't have anything to do with dragons. Alright, I'm gonna watch closely to see what Merrick does here and see if those shields were actually necessary. Okay, so that's the shield down. Ouch. That hurt. Luckily, any monster that gets destroyed in this stage, I don't need for the first battle of Stage 4. Surprise, surprise! We're gonna rush our drill birds. The water monsters are of no threat. They'll be dealing halved damage due to the wind element, so that's nice. Winning strategist that he is, Merrick decides to waste his strongest monster on the one drill bird that's shielded, instead of using his weaker monster to get rid of the shield instead. I'm thankful for that, because Zoa would destroy Drollbird in one hit. Now, what's seriously sad about this is that when I make the attack on the symbol, you'll notice that the symbol is left with, like, an extremely low amount of health, like 2 hit points. That's very, very unfortunate. It means that if the Drollbird's level were 1 higher, I would have destroyed the symbol in 1 hit. The thing is, I'm not even sure if it's possible to get a Drollbird up to level... What do I need? I think I would need level 8, and that's... that's pushing it. So I'll be thankful that I was still able to destroy the symbol because Merrick decided not to move it to where I couldn't hit it. Why do these computers have such a problem with that? So the stage is just about to wrap up here. Oh yeah, did I mention enemies could level up if they actually gain enough experience points? Doesn't really matter unless you're trying to feed all your monsters to something you want to take later. Enemies being able to level up doesn't really make things more difficult either. If you wanted to make things difficult, you would start them out at a high level. But then, it would be very, very difficult to destroy them, and that's sure they'd be level 9 anyways, if they started at level 9. There we go, Area 3 cleared in under 40 minutes. I'm a little fatigued from talking like this for so long, though. I think we get another symbol level up, and at this point, our symbol's effect rate should be maxed out, so now we're going to start putting all the points into AP. Which means that the amount of AP we're able to spend in order to move monsters goes up. Which means we can start playing with the stronger monsters now, and lots of them. So that's Area 3 cleared. Area 4 is going to be a lot of fun, in my opinion, because we know how fun it's going to be. So I'll see you for that. Stay tuned.